Good morning. Welcome to what has now turned out to be a beautiful day. It's not snowing, the sun is shining, and you are at the 2020 winter commencement of Bellevue University. Please shut down your electronic devices for the enjoyment of all of our graduates and our guests, and the graduates will now enter the auditorium. Could I have everyone please rise for the platform party? Thank you.
Good morning. Please stay standing. I apologize about the pops. I have no idea what they're from. But we don't have fireworks on our commencement, so it's something else. We are excited to have our 2020 commencement ceremony this morning and ask for you to remain standing while we sing the national anthem led by Liz Pettinger, and remain standing, and Deacon Leo Mahan will give the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I invite all those who wish to participate in our invocation prayer to please remain standing. God of all faiths, we rejoice and are thankful for all of Bellevue University's graduates and students, family members, friends and guests, members of the Board of Directors, President Hawkins, deans, administrators, faculty, and staff. We know that our journey to this graduation day was not easy. We also know that we did not take our journey alone. We thank all the members of our own family, friends, and the members of our Bellevue University family for their time, energy, support, and love that helped bring us here today. Most of all, we thank you, God, for your grace gave us the strength, courage, and persistence to reach this graduation day. We thank you, God, for surely you are with us here today and always. Let us be forever grateful to you, God of all faiths. Amen.
You may be seated. I want to start by introducing the platform party to you. And as I call out the name of board member or administrator, I'd ask them just to stand for a moment, but hold your applause until we've called everybody. I'd start with the chair of our board, Mr. Mike Castling, Mr. Bill Dyer, Ms. Diva Mejias, Ms. Gail Seaton, and Mr. Larry Armstrong. And I'd also like now to introduce special guests whom you will hear from later, Dr. Imad Rahim and Mr. Michael Speed. And finally, members of the University Administration, Mr. Matt Davis, Dr. Mary Dobransky, Dr. Michelle Epler, Ms. Sherry Hutcherson, Dr. Cliff Mason, Dr. Rebecca Murdoch. And importantly to all of you, the distinguished faculty sitting behind us whom have guided you on this path to your degrees. I also want to recognize and thank the Palladium Brass Band for the music that they host at this event. Thank you. This morning, we'd like to start by showing our gratitude and appreciation to those who serve our country. Bellevue University has proudly added red, white, and blue military service recognition cords to our academic attire. These cords represent veterans or current service members of our armed forces. And I know right now that graduates and students are deployed around the world, so Hopefully they can watch this and share our appreciation. We would like to invite all of our graduates, board members, faculty, staff, and audience members who have served or are serving in the United States Armed Forces to rise and accept our thanks for your service. An important tradition at Bellevue University is to select a student from the graduating class to speak on behalf of the graduates. Students are nominated by faculty, staff, and fellow students. They compete for the honor, and the faculty selects by ballot the person they best believe represents the graduating class. As his name implies, today's student speaker, Michael Speed, has moved full speed ahead since he enlisted in the Air Force in 1990. He served in Desert Storm and then served in support of Hurricane Andrew disaster relief efforts. His work in Florida earned him both the Air Force Achievement Medal and Humanitarian Service Medal. Since then, Michael's career has progressed quickly, from a cyberspace support position at Offutt Air Force Base to corporate positions in Chicago, New York, Dallas, and Washington, D.C., to technology consulting for clients such as the U.S. Secret Service, the FIFA World Cup Organization, and IBM, just to name a few. Michael is a lifelong learner, and I'm proud to share with you that when he receives his Master of Business Administration degree today, he will have earned 3 degrees with Bellevue University, as well as a Bachelor of Science degree at Northwestern University, and he's not done. He's currently working on his PhD in Information Services at the University of North Texas. He juggles those studies alongside spending time with his family, excelling at his full-time job as a technical program manager at Google. There he has responsibility for critical resources and assets that impact Google customers worldwide. I know his wife is here in the audience today, and we welcome her and invite Michael Speed to come up and give his address.
Good morning. Thank you, President Hawkins, for such a warm welcome and introduction. I'm extremely flattered. I couldn't have said it better myself, or if I had Googled me. Again, thank you, President Hawkins, Executive Committee, Board of Directors, faculty, graduating class of 2020, family, friends, and guests. Welcome, welcome, and Happy New Year. It's a new decade, graduates, and we are still here today and with our family and friends. Again, my name is Michael Speed, and we are the Bellevue University class of 2020. I am honored to share in this celebration and represent this great class of students and alumni and this fine university. Indeed, this is a Happy New Year for all of us. This is especially a significant moment and milestone for me. 2020 marks my 30th year as a lifelong academic learner since graduating from high school in 1990. This is also the year that my first child, my son, was born. He was born on my birthday on September 18th. I was 19 years old. Now, my son is a post-9/11 United States Navy veteran that has served his country. Thank you. That being said, I would like to do this again. I would like to pause and take a brief but very important moment to recognize and share with all of those who represent and have served this great country through the Department of Defense and Homeland Security. So all veterans, please, please stand up if you can and be recognized as I briefly speak directly to you. If you cannot stand, please raise your hands and be recognized as well. This includes, thank you. This includes all active duty military, reservists, National Guard, and veterans of all services. If you wore the military uniform and defended our flag for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, thank you for your service. And thank you to your family for their selflessness and sacrifice. Our debt can never be repaid. Please give them another round of applause. To all of the nation's first responders and public service workers from coast to coast, we thank you for your continued service to your communities and this great nation. I am truly a believer that we are better and stronger together, as represented by the stars and stripes on the United States flag. Our red, white, and blue colors will never run, and our prideful stars of our flag will never fade. Believe and trust that I will live and die for what our flag stands for, and the sacrifices that so many have made for the freedom that we enjoy each and every day. May God bless America. I am a veteran that enlisted on active duty in the United States Air Force in 1990. It was 1993 when I was transferred to Omaha, Nebraska, nearly 30 years ago to Offutt Air Force Base, not very far from then Bellevue College and now Bellevue University. I served in the United States Air Force as a Desert Storm combat veteran and in the humanitarian efforts in support of Hurricane Andrew in South Florida in 1992. This was also the year that my second child, my daughter, was born. She was born on my mother's birthday. I was 21 years old. Nevertheless, as a result of my service and sacrifice and love for this great country, I am a disabled United States Air Force veteran. Believe me, as a person who's traveled the world both in the military and through the private sector, the United States of America is the greatest country on earth. The opportunities are endless, and you can be and do anything you set your mind to. Okay, now let's get down to it. Let's get to how I landed on this stage today. You may be asking yourself or your neighbors or asking Google on your phones right now, who is this guy, Michael Speed? Well, let me tell you what Google may or may not know about me. This is my story of perseverance through adversity. I'm black. Yes, I said it. I'm black. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm 48 years old. So to some people, probably to most of you, I'm just plain old or middle-aged. I'm not that old, millennials. My father dropped out of high school. My mother did not go beyond high school. I grew up in poverty, violence, and around drugs. I lost family members, including 3 brothers who were victims of drugs and senseless crimes. I lived in the city and the suburbs. I lived up north. I lived down south, on the East Coast and West Coast, and of course, the great Midwest. I hail from extreme and humble beginnings. I am very reserved, and I'm an introvert with extrovert potential and characteristics. Believe that? I may or may not be the smartest, but I'm always among those that work the hardest. This is who I am, and some may think this is a disadvantage, but I don't see it that way, because through it all, I'm still here today with my fellow graduates. My point is this: so what your disadvantage? So what is hard? So what it seems it takes a lifetime for an achievement? March on. Through it all, I'm still here today, and so are you. Besides, easy versus hard and difficult are subjective and irrelevant. God spared you and I because He has a plan. God has more work for us to do. I ask God for more wisdom and knowledge, so He keeps giving me more problems to solve. I got a lot of problems. I ask for strength, and He gives me more complex challenges. He wakes me up every day just in time to continue the journey that He has designed for me. Who am I to resist that? And who are you? Growing up, I knew I was different from my exposures and environment. I knew that I was smart, but I did the very bare minimum to get by. I'm sure someone can relate. It took years and years of recovering from my many mistakes and real-world life lessons to realize I wanted more for myself and that I had more to offer. In the United States Air Force, the motto is aim high, fly, fight, win, integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. I continue to live my life by that core foundation today, graduates, but I'm not perfect, and excellence is subjective. Now, if you take nothing more from this commencement speech, even if this is not my name or my face, however, I trust and believe you will long remember me in this day. Class of 2020, I hope this ceremony goes viral and breaks the internet. We can fix that later. Nevertheless, please remember these 3 life lessons that I have lived by. 1, it doesn't matter what happens in life, it's how you respond to it. You have no control over anyone, but you do have control over your actions. 2, you are not your mistakes. Failure is inevitable, and risk is expected and required on any journey, whether successful or not. If and when you do fail, so what? Get up and keep moving forward. 1 single step every day is better than 100 steps backwards in sorrow, remorse, and regret. Therefore, get up and march on. Now, those 2 were good. 3, and this is very important, never allow a person to tell you no who doesn't have the authority to say yes. Eleanor Roosevelt said that. You better Google it. So moving on. Always respectfully challenge the status quo. Fight for justice and equitable treatment. Fight for those who need and depend on you. Fight for the disadvantaged and those perceived to be. You have the tools and willpower to be an inspiration and leader in the world today, and like Nike says, just do it. This education that we work so hard for and this diploma that we've earned are our wings of freedom. So fly and be free, graduates. Accept it with pride and honor, but remember, the journey continues. We have more work to do. In closing, this is in memory of my dear mother, who I lost in 2017 to a short but difficult fight with cancer. This was September 19th, 2017. This was the following day after my 46th birthday. But I say again, through it all, I'm still here today with a smile on my face. I do miss her every day, though. However, she's in a better place now, and I know she's smiling back at me. There is someone here today whose knowledge and ideals may save others from such pain and hurt through your contributions in life. My mother always instilled in me that if I wanted a better life, I must get an education and work harder than the rest. I didn't believe that in high school. I didn't believe it. But how ironic that hindsight is 2020, graduating class of 2020. I hope you hear me now, you too, millennials. She would also say, be the best at whatever you do, regardless of what that job is. Be the best at it. Be proud and hold your head up high, she would say. Now, my challenge to each and every graduate here today, my fellow graduates, Work harder every single day to make the world a better place and make a difference and a strong and everlasting impact. Do not let difficult circumstances hinder you from reaching your goals. Use your gifts, use your talents, use your education, use your resources, use your experiences. Be creative and think outside the box. Today is a new day, graduates. Today is your day. Today is our day. Besides, through it all, I'm still here, and so are you. Through all the obstacles, through all the complaints, and many late-night homework assignments, work expectations, family commitments, ups and downs, trials and tribulations, sacrifices and selflessness, and let's not forget about the debates with your professors over where a comma goes in a sentence. Or if your essays and dissertations are in APA format. Or get this, why does any of that matter anyway? I get it, maybe I'm just the only one. Nevertheless, we're still here today, graduates. We are forever united and bonded as we now share one more common attribute. We all know someone who is alumni of the Bellevue University graduating class of 2020. My final message, as I've told my 5 children their entire lives, yes, there are 5 of them. And I love them all the same, but differently. However, I encourage and require them, as I would say, apply yourself, do your best, and quoting the late Winston Churchill, never, never, never give up. So aim high, fellow graduates. You are here today because you deserve to be here today. Thank you and God bless.
That tremendous energy just comes through every word and breath. Michael, thank you so much. I'm now proud to say that our commencement speaker next is one of our own. Imad Rahim serves as the Katosh Family Endowed Chair and Professor here at Bellevue University, and he's the Program Director of our Project Management Center of Excellence. Imad came to Bellevue initially to do an evaluation when we applied for special accreditation for our program. And he was so impressed by the people that he met at the university, by the students he interviewed, and by the commitment of everyone toward excellence that he soon after joined our staff as a professor and has been here a number of years. You'll be fascinated by Imad's life story, and I'm not going to take any of this spirit away from his talk, but he's overcome challenges, as Michael has, used education as a path forward. He's a community college graduate. He's earned bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. He holds a number of postdoctoral credentials, as well as an array of certifications from the Project Management Institute and the Scrum Alliance. And in his Michael word, if you Google Imad, you'll see a whole track record of all of the accomplishments he's had. He's an award-winning educator, an entrepreneur, a Fulbright scholar, an author, a TEDx speaker, and a well-recognized community leader, and part of the Bellevue University faculty. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Imad Rahim.
Before I get started, I got to do something very important, so give me a moment. Wow, graduating class of 2020. That sounds nice, right? That sounds good. So I am honored to be here, but also very humbled. You see, education saved my life. I mean, it really saved my life. You see, I'm a genocide survivor. I was born in a concentration camp in the killing fields of Cambodia. On the day I was born, my father was being tortured and eventually executed. I had an older brother that died of starvation in my mother's arms. We spent almost 2 years in this concentration camp before we escaped and ended up in a refugee camp for another 2 years, until eventually we got sponsored to come to America. Now, when we came to America, they just didn't put us in any place, right? They put us in Brooklyn, New York in the 80s. Now listen, I know some of you are younger than me. This is not Sex in the City, Brooklyn, right? Like Jay-Z and Beyonce didn't have a condo in Brooklyn. There was nobody doing yoga and drinking lattes in Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the 80s, this was the height of the crack epidemic. Like the Bronx was being burnt down. And I lived in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, on 64th Street, right? And it seemed like no one got along. Like there was Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Haitians, and no one got along. And I was this Cambodian kid trying to fit in. And the only thing that I could fit in was breakdancing. But my mom didn't like hip hop. She thought it was too much cursing, so I could only breakdance to Michael Jackson. Now that sounds cool unless you're at Sunset Park. It's not that cool trying to breakdance to Beat It. And as a kid, one of my favorite things to do as a kid was the block parties, right? This is when everyone got along, right? The streets are closed, right? The merengue is blasting, hip hop is blasting. It was a beautiful sight. And then one day, a fight broke out. And as a kid, I walked into the crossfire and got my leg almost blown off. And the struggle continued all throughout school. I had to deal with an abusive stepfather, struggle with poverty, violence. I even became homeless. But education was always with me. That passion, that excitement. But there was something going on in me that I had no idea what was happening. Something was not right with me. You see, I was always this special education student. I came to school as an ESL student, then placed in special education, and then placed in the resource room, right? And I went to some of the most dangerous schools in Brooklyn and upstate New York. And when I graduated high school, I realized that I didn't get the same experience that everybody else did. You see, I had no idea what an SAT was. So when I graduated, I didn't have a second plan. I went straight to work. Matter of fact, I was working all throughout high school to help my mother. So when I graduated, the only option for me was community college. But no one ever told me what college life is supposed to be. No one told me what I should do in community college, right? I was a first generation college student. No one in my neighborhood went to school. So when I went to community college, I thought community college was like 13th grade. I treated it like a high school. I played spades in the hallway. I skipped class. I was more interested in girls than my grades. And after spending about 3 years in a 2-year program, I got the message because I was placed on academic probation. I lost my EOP scholarship. And I was working as a security guard. And one day something changed my life. A person changed my life. His name is Mr. Eppolito, right? So Nicholas Eppolito taught this class called Human Service 101. And it was like 7 a.m. in the morning. 7 a.m. in the morning. And I used to work a security job where I did overnight. So I would work like 11 a.m., get off like at 6, and had his class at 7. So I thought I was gonna be smart, right? So I would come into his class, and I figured if I sat right in the front row, if I sat right there, and right in front of him, I won't go to sleep, right? So I came into class one day, sat right in front of him, went straight to sleep. But then, while I was sleeping, my spider senses started, started clicking. It was like, Imad, you need to wake up. Something's happening. Oh, yeah, you need to wake up. Oh, it's serious. You need to wake up. So I woke up, and I had a pile of drool all over my desk. Like, it was nasty, right? There was like a waterfall of drool. Like, it was like. And I got up, wiped the drool off my face, and went to the back of the room and went straight to sleep. I woke up and started walking out of the class, and some of my classmates stopped me. They said, "Hey, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." They're like, "Do you know what happened in class today?" I was like, "No, I was asleep." They said, "You were snoring so loud, Mr. Eppolito stopped the class. And then he stood right in front of you and shook his head. But then he said something amazing. He said, let him sleep. He's a good kid. He works hard. I know this kid very well. Let him sleep." So I felt bad. I felt real bad. I was like, oh my God. So I went looking for Mr. Eppolito. And then I found him. And I went to apologize. And he says, no, don't apologize, Imad. But I need you to do something for me, all right? I need you to take a test. So I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like used to taking tests. I was a special ed student. So I took this test, and he said, I need you to take another test. So I took another test. And he goes, I need you to meet with somebody. And I met with somebody and took another test. And then finally, he called me back in the office, and he goes, Imad, I don't know if you know this, but do you know you're dyslexic? And I was like, no. And he goes, do you know what dyslexia is? And I was like, yeah. And in my head, I was like, how did I catch dyslexia? Like, what night was that? Bad joke. So he goes, he explained dyslexia, he explained it to me. And in my head, I was thinking, okay, this is another label. This is another stigma, right? This is something I have to deal with, something I have to confront. This is something I'm used to. But then he said something amazing. And he goes, Imad, this is great news. Imad, this is wonderful news. You have dyslexia. I was like, how is this wonderful? You just told me I caught dyslexia. I don't understand. And he goes, this is great news, Imad, because you could learn. You just learn different, and no one told you. You could learn. You just learn different. And all of a sudden, things changed. All of a sudden, things like this light just turned on, right? And I went from a struggling student, a student that had no idea that I was struggling with a purpose, but I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a methodology, and all of a sudden I knew that I could learn. I just needed different tools. I didn't have the right tools, and Mr. Eppolito was with me, and all of a sudden Mr. Dardell was with me, and I went from a struggling student that always got D's and C's, right? That was a special ed student. That was this genocide survivor that was raised by a single mother, and I went on to getting an A, right? And that A into another A. And I went from graduating with my associates and then on to my bachelor's. And from my bachelor's, what? A master's. And the thing is education is addictive. It's expensive, but addictive. And when I got my master's, it was like Kanye West's first album, and I loved it. Right? I wanted more of it, right? And then I went on to earn my doctorate, right? I went on to earn my doctorate, and I was like, this can't stop. Because the great thing about being an adult learner, being a professional learner, everything that I was learning in class, I didn't have to wait 3 or 4 years to apply it. I was applying it daily, right? So while I was pursuing my education, while I was pursuing my doctorate, I started a business, and that business grew, and that business merged, and that business got sold, right? So I went on to earning my doctorate, to attending my postdoctoral fellowship. at Tulane, at Harvard, at University of Maryland. Because you know what? Like I said, education is addictive, but expensive. So, why do I say this to you? Why am I sharing this to you, right? Because one thing that I had to do a lot of reflection. I never thought about this, right? So, education, regardless of what school you go to, it's very similar. The curriculum is very similar. The textbook you use is very similar, right? The background in regards to the professors, I'm one of them, is pretty similar. What makes it unique is you. What makes universities and education unique is you as students, what you bring to the table, your life experience, your journey. You already had it in you. Today, you are earning a diploma, but you are already there. So when you leave Bellevue today, right? So when you leave Bellevue as ambassadors, as alumni, remember that you always had resilience in you. You've always had grit, right? You always had pure determination because you know what it's like to be a non-traditional learner. You broke the tradition. So when you leave here today, don't wait for change. Be the change. And congratulations, everyone, to the class of 2020.
Such a story. We're so proud to have Imad on our faculty. And now we begin the main event, the conferral of degrees and recognition of our graduates. Would Mr. Mike Castling please come forward? And will the graduates please rise? Director Castling, I have the honor on behalf of the faculty of the university and myself to present to you and the board of directors these candidates who fulfilled the requirements for designated Bellevue University degrees.
By virtue of the charter power granted by the state of Nebraska to Bellevue University Board of Directors, and by reason for recommendation from the president and faculty of Bellevue University, be it known that all those present and on behalf of and in the name of the Board of Directors, I hereby confer the designated degrees upon the candidates, together with all the rights, privileges, responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Congratulations. You may be seated. Bellevue University embraces tradition and change in our mission, our vision, and in our commitment to the signature series that you have experienced. Tradition and change are also woven through this ceremony. The speakers and graduates focus on the future and their paths, but the academic graduation is steeped in tradition, regalia, and ritual from centuries ago. As we stand here to honor those individuals graduating who have prepared themselves for a commitment to a free society, we note that our academic gowns and other regalia pay homage to the centuries-old traditions that have made this possible. While the content and process of our education serves to move us into the future, our traditions link us to all who have gone before to lay the foundation for our lives, and our academic regalia honors them. We hold this heritage dear, and that is why our regalia remains essentially unchanged after all these centuries. In turning to the recognition of individual students, it is clear that all of them have worked very hard to achieve their goal of graduating with a Bellevue University degree. We stand together, garbed as we are, in recognition of that. There are a few bachelor's degree candidates of particular note whose undergraduate academic performance has significantly exceeded the norm during a long tenure with the university. You will recognize these graduates by the colored cords around their shoulders, indicating they have earned academic honors. We will now start with the doctoral degrees. Will Dr. Murdoch please come forward to present them?
Today, we begin the degree awards with the hooding ceremony for the PhD graduates. The PhD, or Doctor of Philosophy, is the highest of all academic awards. We are very pleased today to present 5 graduates from the PhD program in Human Capital Management. Dr. Mary Hawkins and Mr. Mike Castling will assist in hooding our PhD graduates and awarding their diplomas. Also participating in the hooding are the graduates' dissertation chairs, Dr. Greg Ashley, Dr. Carolyn Yusuf Morgan, and Dr. Paul Poplar. Our first PhD graduate today is Jamarco L. Bowen. Dr. Bowen's dissertation is titled, "The Mediating Effects of Role Characteristics on the Relation Between Leader Style and Affective Commitment." Stephen Dale Smith. Dr. Smith's dissertation is titled, "Developing a Job Satisfaction Scale for Online Adjunct Faculty." Michael P. Tecci. Dr. Tecci's dissertation is titled, "Turnover Intention, a Quantitative Test of the Effects from Areas of Work-Life Burnout and Coping Resources." Linnell E. Craig. Dr. Craig's dissertation is titled, "The Joint Effects of Psychological Capital and Work-Life Balance on Stress and Well-Being." Pablo E. Colon. Dr. Colon's dissertation is titled, "Perceptions of Leadership Diversity in the Federal Government." We commend our PhD graduates for achieving this high academic honor. Congratulations to all. Will Dr. Cliff Mason please come forward to present the graduate degrees from the College of Arts and Sciences? Will Mr. Larry Rasmussen and Ms. Gail Seaton please come forward to present diplomas?
Shaylin Lene Brown. Sarah Marie Eblin. Danita Lynn Almonte. Joyce Lynn Hicks Calvinet. Ali Marin Larson. Kelly Marie Martin. Michelle McKinley. Tara Lynn Myers. Jennifer R. Nevins. Paul R. Radke. Mackenzie Taylor Renkema. Jason David Swain. Judy Thomas. Stephen Thomas. Nicole Marie Waterman. Tyran Scott Adams. Eshetu Degafe Dana. Heather Ann Grant. Angela Rose McDermott. Angela Marie Parrish. Kathleen A. Purdy. Lisa Marie Schurmeister. Andrea N. Taylor. Jeremy L. Pruitt. Veronica M. Robles. Dil Akay Joke. Brianna L. Moxie. This completes the master's degrees in the College of Arts and Sciences. Thank you, Mr. Rasmussen and Ms. Seaton. You may be seated to present the graduate degrees from the College of Business. I call forward Dr. Rebecca Murdoch, Dean of the College. Will Mr. Matt Davis and Mr. Bill Dyer please come forward to present diplomas?
Joshua Colby Brusima. Gail L. Portera. Michael Sean Scott. Cheyenne Ray Augustine. Sigun Badmus. Faimin Z. Bedia. Stephanie Galen Bolter. Joseph Burnett. Stephanie Collins. Mitchell Anthony Craig. Rodney Brian Dang. Jorge David. Jody Delos Davis. Lynn Doan. Brooke Elizabeth Dozark. Zachary Clifton Dunning. Nicholas J. Epley. Juan Guragain. Bridget Elaine Higginson. Amanda M. Jones. Sunil Kashyap. Brandy Louise Keller. Emily R. Knight. Wade Michael Kochwar. Katie Joe McGuire. Justin McNair. Raven O'Neill. Deborah Grace Renkin. Ellen Marie Sievers. Samantha Ann Slater. Michael Speed. Gladys M. Starkey. Jimmy Lane Thomas. Kristen M. Van Hooser. Emily Patricia Wiseman. William Fletcher Wiseman. Jeremy B. Wright. Yang Yang Chu. Scott Thomas Young. Shihawang Zhang. Debria Clark. Sierra Monet Johnson. Salia Nezari. Julie Christine Ullman. Cicely J. Lewison. Cody Selstad. Patricia A. Seidlich. Nathan J. Collins. Selena Monroe. Zaina Marie Thompson. Darren L. Howard Sr. Sherry Janine Howard. Jacob Coram. Matt Durden. Tammy E. Hall. Daniel J. Noel. Kevin Lee Miller. Sarah Videgla. This completes the master's degrees in the College of Business. Thank you, Mr. Davis and Mr. Dyer. You may be seated. Will Dr. Mary Dobransky please come forward to present the graduate degrees from the College of Science and Technology? Will Mr. Mike Castling and Ms. Diva Mejias please come forward to present diplomas?
Natruk Lee Duang. Caitlin Joan Mans. Cassie Antoine Noah Meschi. Ayowade Elvis Abogan. Santosh Kumar Anapali. Nitika Anna. Bhuvnesh Bargo. Aaron Andrew Cluett. Lahiru Halawaralaje. Taras Kariv. Niraj Pokhrel. Shneha Tautam. Wu Xiaochen. Braden Champion. Tai Enotambi. Bruce R. Freeman. William Leonard Hackenberg III. Alan E. Hayek Jr. Adam Richard Hoffman. Joseph Richard Canis. Andre Keita Lawson. Bill Briggs Lewis. Sanyog Maharjan. Jean-Claude Duiman. Randy Tomasek. Raghuraman Nanduri. Ani Ban Pal. Jana Haltufterhide. Kelly Jenkins. Sudhakar Lankreddy. Oduchuku Madumer. Jacqueline Ruth Gonzalez. Lonnie Shoemate Jr. Wasila D. Udrego. This completes the master's degrees in the College of Science and Technology. Thank you, Mr. Castling and Ms. Mejias. You may be seated.
You can head over. Now we will recognize those receiving their undergraduate degrees, beginning with Dr. Cliff Mason from the College of Arts and Sciences. Will Ms. Gail Seaton and Mr. Larry Rasmussen please come forward to present diplomas?
Kayla Leanne Baker. Sierra N. Boyd. Tara Christensen. Jennifer Christian. Michaela Nicole Clavijo. Heather Fowler. Naya Goodwin. LaDeja Brian Ivory. Kavani Deshay Johnson. Jessica Marie Lemp. Chanel McLean. Rebecca Marie Pence Hall. Allison F. Pettis. Veronica Jean Roberts. Mary L. Civils. Haley Stevens. Veronica Vila. Guillermo Calzada. Lakinia Joel Dunn. Amanda M. Nelson. Jessica Marie Feder. Erica Moyer. Delbert Paulus. Hannah Lynn Sewell. James Gregory Berger. Caitlin A. Butler, summa cum laude. Tad James Larson. Gregory Mark Neville. Savannah Ada Ann Sherry. Geraldine Diella Katrina Watson. Darrell F. Bonham, Sr. Scott M. Hall. Brett Ashley Havel. David M. Poots. Stephen Joseph Knapp. Joy Catherine Connor. Raquel Davis. Chelsea Ray Doty, cum laude. Lynn Marie Jensen. Brian A. Mata. Ricky Gerhard Holm II. Marissa Lee Holmes. Mendy A. Park. Dorinda Lynette Young. Nicholas James Mahan. Gar A. Morris. Lestina Beltran. Michelle Miller. Reagan J. Nissen Eubank. Justin C. Gonzalez. Christopher D. High. Victoria Rose Jackson. This completes the undergraduate degrees in the College of Arts and Sciences. Thank you, Ms. Seaton and Mr. Rasmussen. You may be seated. Will Dr. Rebecca Murdoch come to the podium to call forward those receiving their undergraduate degrees from the College of Business? Will Mr. Matt Davis and Dr. Imad Rahim please come forward to present diplomas?
Dustin M. Rhodes. Tyra E. Carey Brown. Elizabeth Hernandez Torres. Lanny Joseph Hupka. Zachary Stephen Rohde with distinction. Jacqueline Yanez. Sarah Ann Allman. Ashley Christine Ball. Lisa Ann Bell with distinction. David Booth. Kimberly Barbara Burdick. Eric Burnside. Noah Leland Decius. Tessa A. DeRocher. Megan Ruth Dolzal. Kaylee Hoschild. Patrick A. Herman. Christina Dion Hins. Catherine M. Hug. Mark Adam Jones. Ellen Kincannon. Christina Marie Kunze. Kristen A. McCoy. Amanda Ray Moldenhauer. Caitlin M. Nelson. Victoria Ashley Knott. Andrew Poor. Catherine Joanne Rollins. Mary Teresa Cephas. Brandy Shannon King. Letitia Smith. Jason Solinger II. Alexandria N. Talich. Mateo Tercero Lucas. Bilma Annabelle Ventura Garcia. Michael Stephen Rakoski. Adriana Amaro. Juan Aon. Riley John Bosch. Brittany D. Finken with distinction. Heather Furtado, cum laude. Jambea Muta Keban. Adrian Martinez, Jr. Thank you, Mr. Davis and Dr. Rahim. You may be seated. Will Mr. Mike Castling and Mr. Bill Dyer please come forward to present diplomas? Christina Ashley Harrison. Ariel S. Pettis. Eugene Ikoga Ebane. Caleb James Dean Hayes, magna cum laude. Chelsea E. Ringo. Jessica R. Drew. Hector M. Garcia. Jessica Zahner. Tyler Zahner. Nancy Jane Cotia. Yasmin Alejandra Gilliard. Carla Elizabeth Crockett. Emily Marie Hosler. Christopher Lee House. Deborah Lynn McNearney. Jennifer Rubida. Laura Stone. Aaron Teasley. Jack L. Washburn. Lisa Chapman. Kyle Richard G. Jessa Raquel Molina. Jessica Rivera. Nicholas Paul Merritt with distinction. Heather Edgerton. Judith Anderson. Stephen Andrew Finner. Gan Yi. Joseph A. Hernandez. Shannon Herrera. Maria Flores Pironi. Brian Wallish. This completes the undergraduate degrees in the College of Business. Thank you, Mr. Castling and Mr. Dyer. You may be seated. I call forward Dr. Mary Dobransky to present the College of Science and Technology undergraduate degrees. Will Dr. Michelle Epler and Ms. Diva Mejes please come forward to present diplomas?
Stephen Ring. Keontae Trammell Smith. Todd Tracy. Timothy Allen Williams. Prosper Gui. Dobili Aoku. Anthony R. Marr. Beatrice Mawawa. Hastings Otieno. Jewelry Du Dela Cruz. Jeff Joranson. Yasser Mehdi. Levastus McDonald. Madeline C. McGrath. Howard D. Perry II. Eric Singer. William Arthur Tien. Jason Tomford. Perpedigna Martinez Trejo, summa cum laude. Dion Wilson. McKenna Lane Curley, cum laude. Candace Lynn Wickwire with distinction. William D. Goodson. Emmanuel K. Chaco. David Wheeler. Nate Smith. Shane Brendan Tweedy, cum laude. Dorso Catherine Bays. Rebecca L. Meyer. Chris Huff with distinction. Zachary J. Miller. Joseph Ramaklis. Anthony Mascarello. Mohammed I. Abo. Carl Frederick Brooks. Rhonda Toole. George Bolter III. Joseph Dean Ringo. Deborah Mendonça. Ture Awa Batagoma. Juan Ramirez Jr. Aura Rencan. David Albert Campbell. This completes the undergraduate degrees in the College of Science and Technology. Thank you, Dr. Epler. And Ms. Mejias, you may be seated.
Okay, graduating class, please rise and reverse your tassels from the right to the left. While you're still standing, I know that there are many people in this audience who help you today. Why don't you take a moment to turn and thank them for the support you've been given? Okay, you may be seated. Graduates, you will define the value of your education. You take the knowledge and values of teamwork, responsibility, ethics, and citizenship to make the world a better place to live. Please don't underestimate the power of education to change and improve lives and the influence that you have on your families, your communities, your businesses, and the world. We really congratulate you and are very proud to see you go forward. Now, would everyone please stand, and we will conclude our ceremony with the benediction by Deacon Mann.
I invite all of those who wish to participate in our benediction prayer to please remain standing. Before we go our separate ways, let us pray to the God of all faiths for the deceased members of our Bellevue University family. Dear God, we also recognize that for those of us who are still on this earth, we have much work to do. Help us to go forth into the world as strong leaders, guiding us with integrity, wisdom, and love, to seek beneficial change as active citizens who contribute to their communities. Give us the courage, strength, and persistence to work for justice, to always be ready to share your gifts with those we encounter. May our lives be a blessing to all. Amen.